So, welcome to another episode of the HUBchat or Hub Conversations. We're going to get a better name, I promise. Maybe you can help. Maybe we'll get there. So the purpose of these conversations is to give members the opportunity to introduce themselves, give us a little bit of background of what it is you do. So today we're joined by the lovely Lisa. If you could start by just introducing yourself and what it is you're doing for work at the minute.
Sure. So my name is Lisa Robinson, and I have recently set up an app which is about to launch in the UK in October. It's called Companions, and it's just gone live on the Play and App Store today. It is a social good or social enterprise app which is going to bring people together who need a bit of help and companionship.
Amazing.
With people who want to provide that and get paid for it in a safe environment. So.
Wicked. A couple of examples of like who you see this benefiting or who is it going to help?
So a good example is somebody like my dad, who is in his late 70s, and he often, even though he's still got my mum around, he'll often climb up a ladder even though we've got a massive house and is, very, very high up, because there isn't anybody who can come around and do an odd job.
Okay.
So somebody who needs a bit of help in that stage. Our co-founder, Helena Kavanagh, the reason we actually set up the app is she had her 94-year-old dad come and live with her, and she was trying to find care, but it was a complete nightmare. So she, really long-winded processes, really not user-friendly, not tech-savvy kind of way of doing business.
Yeah.
And so she just wanted someone to come in and be a friend, really. Somebody.
Sure.
Well, she works 12-hour days,
Yeah.
and she needed somebody to come in and cook him a meal, like have a chat with him, do whatever, just to kind of occupy him for a couple of hours during the day.
Amazing.
So that's one example. So another one is somebody who's broken their leg and can't get around the house, and their partner's out at work during the day. A new mum who is, struggling to get some sleep. Somebody to come in and just look after him for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So it's quite expansive.
Never been so important, has it? Actually. Think about it. Think about how the world at the minute and everyone being kind of forced into isolation. Some people, right?
Yeah, right. And we didn't launch it around COVID. We launched it. We founded the company in December of 2019. But now this has happened. It's kind of the spirit of community. I think there's been more eyes on it than ever before.
For
so
sure.
Hopefully it will be a good thing for us. But it's certainly not done on the back end of something that's been not very great for lots of people.
I think that's one of the things that we benefited from here at the Hub. It's like we were doing something because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Just so happens that everyone realised it was important at the same time.
Yes.
Because of the situation that was forced upon us, right?
Yeah, totally.
So now just a little bit about your Ibiza story. When did your kind of relationship with Ibiza start, and how long have you been here?
So we moved here 2 years ago. And I've been coming since I was probably about 20. But one of our children, who's 3.5, has got very bad asthma. So we were living in London for 20 years. I used to live in Sydney, then moved to London, had children, and then we decided to move out. And honestly, my partner and I couldn't decide where to live, so we kept on fighting because we didn't want to live in the home counties necessarily at this stage of our lives.
I see, having to move out of London because of
his asthma,
stuff.
Yeah. And then we moved here, and we were in and out of hospital every week once a month for probably 8 or 10 months. And then we moved here, and he hasn't had any asthma attacks. So
Amazing.
I think we'll stay here as long as we can.
For sure. Wicked. So since being at the Hub, what would you say? Actually, no. Rewind a bit. So moving here, making a decision, obviously for quite unique reasons. Had you ever thought that you would live abroad before that? Was there anything? I mean, obviously you've been in Australia, but did you think you would do it again?
Yeah, I've always been keen to.
Yeah.
I think Ralph, my partner, wasn't as keen, but then, we spent quite a lot of time here just kind of sussing it out, even though he didn't realise we were sussing it out. And then
I see.
when the opportunity arose, because I was on
maternity leave. It's been recorded,
When the opportunity arose again, because I went on mat leave, I said, why don't we go and try it out? And we did, and that was 2 years ago.
Perfect. Amazing. So for someone else that's sat at home, they've now been working remotely for a while, and they've thought about moving to Ibiza, what would you say to those people? I
would say it's one of those things that you go on ahead and do and realise that it's not that difficult after you've done it.
Yeah.
And I moved over here when I was working at Amazon, so I used to run a decent-sized team at Amazon, and moved over here whilst I was with that business. But since being here, I've set up my own business, and it doesn't stop me from doing any kind of work. If anything, I think I'm probably more ambitious being here just because it's got that kind of environment at the hub.
Yeah.
So, you know, everyone's busy doing work, so, you know, you kind of get into that mode.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think you just have to jump in, don't you, and take the leap. And actually, it's been a great leap, so
yeah,
there's no
amazing.
regrets.
Amazing. And just specifically about the community at the hub, is there anyone that you've connected with because of it and you think, oh, you know, that's been significant? Or are there other industries or individuals that you are interested in connecting with, like based on what you're doing at the minute? Is there anyone that you need to meet to get your projects further, or is there anything that you're looking for inspiration from?
Yeah, so I think anything tech-wise, because we're a tech company, and so we're, you know, essentially tech developers, which is funny in itself because that's not really my background. But yeah, anybody from that kind of area I think is really interesting to us. Marketing, SEO, I'm super interested to talk to people about. And also connecting, you know, we're going to be raising quite a lot of cash as we go through our next kind of 2-year cycle.
Yeah.
So anybody who's kind of got, you know, investment connections is always going to be interesting to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Wicked. And I guess finally, what, you know, how would you summarise the hub? Like, is there something about your experience here that you think, oh, you know, that for me, that's what the hub is?
For me, it would be about having a sense of community and a sense of, you know, everybody's very friendly. You know, you've got great people like yourself, Rick, Joe, Kelly, yeah, go on. And they do make you feel very welcome, which is, you know, sometimes when you move overseas or you've just had children, I've got a 1-year-old and 3-year-old, you know, you can feel a bit isolated, and coming here makes you feel like you're not isolated. It's really bad because it's an expat, but, you know, there's a lot of British people here, so you feel very at home. And I think that's been a really good play for me, and working in an environment where people are here to get on and get stuff done. But still, you know, you can connect and have a nice time with people. But you know, the real atmosphere here is to get stuff done.
Yeah, amazing.
And I love that atmosphere. So for me, it works.
Wicked, amazing. So we just want to wrap up with like an inspirational story, like, because we're trying to put inspirational stuff out. In, you know, if you turn on the news now, there's quite a lot of negative stuff going on. So we're sort of inviting people to give, like, from your career, everything you've done through work, if you could pick one thing that you're super proud of, or like, you know, your biggest achievement personally, what would you say that is?
It's probably.
I mean, it can be what you're doing now, because what you're doing now is pretty special also. Like,
what we're doing now is great. And so to move to another country when you're 8 months pregnant and set up a new business and leave the, you know, the comfort of what is Amazon, I think is probably something that empowers you.
Quite rightly so.
Huh?
Quite rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably, you know, even if it's not what we want it to be, I think going through the process of setting something up from scratch has been a brilliant learning curve.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then, you know, when I was at Amazon, I was on a leadership team full of men, so I was the only token woman on there, and I'm still quite proud of that you can get promoted even though I was pregnant. You know, I had a great rapport with my old CEO, or director, so, you know, to have lived and worked and breathed in that environment is good, and we set up a team from 10 people to 170.
Amazing.
I think that's something that I'm quite proud of still.
Great
Not
stuff.
that I hired them all, but, you know, you kind of put in the, like you guys are doing, it's a growth strategy, which I love.
Yeah. Amazing. Nice one. Lisa, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.